I see women all over social media proudly declaring, "I walk away at the first sign of disrespect." And while that sounds empowering, I don't believe it actually is. Because, let's be honest, when most women say this, they don't mean, "I set a boundary and communicated my needs." They mean, "I cut him off and never looked back." And while walking away might end up being the right choice, automatically leaving at the first sign of disrespect isn't strength, it's fear in disguise. Hi, I'm Michelle, your love and alignment mentor, helping women reconnect with their inner wisdom to attract the relationship their souls are craving. If you're ready to break outdated patterns, embody your higher feminine power, and step into the energy of the new era of relationships, then hit subscribe and let's get started. Real empowerment isn't about walking away at the first offense. It's about knowing when to engage and when to leave. True strength isn't abandoning relationships. It's in knowing how to navigate them with wisdom, discernment, and curiosity. What I've found is that most men are willing to learn, especially from a woman with feminine leadership. My presence in a man's life has a lasting impact, whether I stay or not. He might not be my person, but that doesn't mean I treat him like he's irrelevant. Feminine influence is far more powerful than ultimatums. That's what makes a woman unforgettable. So this mindset of walking away from a relationship at the first sign of a red flag or disrespect has become a badge of honor, a way to show strength and self-worth, the queen mindset. But at some point, every relationship, romantic or otherwise, will include moments of perceived disrespect. And it's not because people are toxic, it's not because they're out to hurt you, but because they're human. They have egos and bad days and a string of bad luck and depression and all kinds of things going on. The reality is, I've disrespected my man before. I've displayed red flags at times, and he's done the same. Whether it was early in our relationship or even today, it happens. The question isn't, did he disrespect me? Or, I can't believe he disrespected me. It's, what do we do with this and what happens next? Maybe he spoke carelessly, maybe he was frustrated, maybe he just doesn't see the way things I do. Maybe he got out of bed on the wrong side. If your first thought is to walk away, you miss out on 3 key things. Number 1, understanding why the behavior happened. Curiosity is everything in relationships. Number 2, setting a boundary and then seeing if it's respected moving forward. And number 3, learning to communicate in a way that fosters resolution. I walk away at the first sign of disrespect sounds powerful, but in reality, it keeps you from real empowerment. Defense isn't empowerment, it's fear-based. Defense is, I'm afraid of getting hurt again, so I'm going to walk away before that happens. It's, I don't have the time to correct someone's behavior, they should already know. But a lot of times, people don't already know. What's clear to you might not be clear to him. And I get it, many women have been hurt. They don't want to repeat history. And so they put up walls in the name of empowered, independent woman. But defense mechanisms aren't the same as empowerment. Instead of reacting with, I'm walking away, ask yourself, why did this happen? Was it intentional or accidental? Can this be worked through? Or is this a deeper pattern? Did I play any part in eliciting this reaction or emotion from him? And if he's unwilling to change after setting boundaries, after having the difficult conversation, then it's time to walk away. But if you leave at the first offense, you miss the opportunity to build the skills that create strong, lasting relationships. So before I move on, I do want to make it clear that I'm not talking about the kind of disrespect or red flag that is in the arena of abuse and violence. Obviously, those don't deserve second chances. But not all disrespect is created equal. Some things are deal breakers, yes, but most are actually teachable moments. Your partner snaps at you after a long day. He interrupts you frequently. He forgets something important, like a birthday or anniversary or a date. He stares at another woman. He doesn't text you back. These feel disrespectful, but they're also human flaws, and they can be worked through with clear, direct communication. Even with more serious events like betrayal and manipulation, curiosity still plays an important role. Also, this might come as a shock, but betrayal is also subjective. Pornography is considered cheating to some, but not others. Liking other women's Instagram photos is considered cheating to some, but not others. You simply can't expect men to just know. Instead, ask him, what was your intention? Were you trying to hurt me? How do you expect me to respond to this? These kinds of questions don't excuse bad behavior, but they give you clarity to decide if this is something you need to walk away from. If he continues the behavior despite knowing it hurts you, despite the set boundaries, that's when you walk away. But if you leave at the first sign of disrespect, you'll never develop these 3 core relational skills. Number 1, the ability to stand up for yourself while staying open to resolution. Remember, there are 2 of you in the relationship. You must make room for what I call shit soup. Both of you are bringing in all your traumas, past experiences, subjectivities, and all the rest of it. Number 2, you'll never develop the skill of expressing what you need without shutting down, making ultimatums, or leaving. And number 3, you'll never develop the discernment to tell the difference between a misstep, a careless mistake, and a real pattern of harm. Instead of a black and white mindset, a healthier approach sounds like this. I don't tolerate repeated disrespect, and I also recognize that relationships require repair. I give my partner the opportunity to correct his behavior before assuming he's unworthy of connection. And I understand that relationships require effort, and my job isn't to avoid all discomfort, it's to navigate it wisely. This is real queen empowerment. This fosters real relationships where both people grow, rather than one just being discarded. I know that many women have been hurt, dismissed, or gaslit. I have too. And I understand why walking away at the first sign of disrespect feels like protection. But protection isn't the same as power. It's reactive, not intentional. And it doesn't develop real relationship skills. It simply avoids discomfort. It confuses discernment with defensiveness, where fear of being hurt again takes precedence over learning to stand strong in who you are. If a man disrespects me, that's okay. Not because I tolerate disrespect, but because I trust myself completely. I know that no matter what happens, I will still thrive. That is true feminine power, not reacting from fear, not grasping for control, but standing so firmly in my worth that I don't need to prove it. Feminine energy allows experiences to unfold, not from a place of passivity, but from deep, unshakable confidence. Now, that doesn't mean ignoring red flags or staying where you're not valued. It means recognizing that someone else's behavior is a reflection of them, not necessarily a threat to you. It means understanding that you are the one with the power because you always have the choice to walk away. And if you do, or if he does, you won't be bitter or resentful, feeling like your time was wasted. Instead, you leave with grace, knowing that your presence alone was an opportunity for him to rise. And maybe he will, maybe he won't. But either way, you remain untouched in your self-worth. And more often than not, he will realize, sometimes too late, that losing a mature, grounded, allowing woman was his greatest mistake. Another thing I hear a lot is, I don't have time to fix a grown man, or I shouldn't have to fix a grown man. If he doesn't already know how to treat a woman, I'm not here to teach him. And I get it, you don't want to raise a man, but there's a big difference between not wanting to fix a broken man and refusing to offer guidance in a relationship. Because let's be real, are you perfect? Do you always get it right? Or do you sometimes need a little grace, a little feedback, and a little patience? Real relationships aren't about finding someone who's already perfect. They're about growth together. This is where you build connection. Have you ever noticed that so many high-value women posting on social media are actually single? It's because they reject good men, and it creates a waiting game simply because he's not a finished product. The irony is, none of us are. Growth continues, especially in the space of romantic relationships. Yes, you might have done the work already. And yes, maybe you want a man who's already there. I get that. But what if, just what if this man only needs a little push? What if he's actually open to learning how to be a better partner, a better man, a better lover? But he needs the kind of woman who invites that growth. A great relationship isn't about two perfect people coming together or about two perfect people finding each other. It's about two willing people choosing to grow together. A man doesn't need to be fully healed or fully evolved. He just needs to be open. And that goes for you too. And this is the exciting thing about relationships, is you get to create them. So to the people who say, don't be in a relationship unless you've done the work, or it's better to stay single until you're ready or until you've healed, I say bullshit. Healing isn't a finishing line you cross over, and if it was, who decides where the finish line is? You won't even know all of your triggers until someone triggers you. You won't know how secure you are until you're tested. We don't need to keep fixing one more thing until we're ready. The question isn't, am I ready? Because the answer will probably always be no. The question is, do I have the self-awareness and resilience to navigate a relationship? And I have seen this so many times in my own relationships where I meet a guy and he's really nice, but doesn't open doors for me, or he's not up to par on social etiquette. there might be some things missing, or his behavior isn't quite up to my standards. But almost every single time I influence him to rise, he listens. And this is where true feminine power comes in, allowing the opportunity for growth to happen, and yet knowing you'll still thrive even if it doesn't. Plus, and this is the most important part, even if I decide he's not for me, I still don't just walk away never looking back. Why? Because it's my imperative to set him up for the next woman. So let's talk about it. I'm curious. Have you ever walked away from a relationship too soon, realizing that if you just pushed through and maybe had some difficult conversations, it would have worked out? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video, please like, comment, or subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for being here, your interest in healthy relationships, and contributing to humanity's growth.